music is all fucking wrong! That's more fucking like it! What is up, Robot Wars fans? Hardcore Kid here for a new episode of the Hardcore Podcast. At long last, we've made it to 2018 after a year of dismay, destruction, but we got the return of Robot Wars, so we got some positive vibes in the end. And today, we're going to be reviewing the first episode of the Robot Wars World Series. Series 10 isn't over yet. And joining me for this ride around the world, so to speak, representing the country of Japan, we have Otaku Nate.
They've come from all over the world with one goal, a glowing piece of our awesome rock. But one question still remains. Do you have it?
Guts!
Do you have it?
Ooh. And
I
representing...
never got that show in the UK.
I got some episodes uploaded. Hey, they got some British... They had some British guys on the show. I'm surprised they didn't have it in the UK. Speaking of the UK, representing British land, we have Alexthehunted.
I am here to represent the United States of England land.
Woo! And last but not least, making his debut on the Hardcore Podcast, representing the country of Massachusetts. You may know him on YouTube as ResettisReplicas. He's made a lot of Robot Arena 2 videos, and right now he's become a full-time roboteer with his robots Quicksand and Eclair and Bonbon. It is Ian Miller.
Thank you, Brandon. That's a hell of an introduction.
That's a cruel joke, but I'm going to make it. Hopefully his robots are better than his editing skills.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, that's all right.
You know what? It's still better editing than what they've done in the actual show. So
yeah, we'll get to that one moment.
But yeah, so this is the first of 2 World Series episodes, and after years upon years of the UK constantly burying other countries, we finally got a bunch of robots from around the world taking the UK head on.
And the same thing happened again.
But not really.
No, but yeah. So for this I gotta say, there is a lot to talk about in this episode. First off, and this is some of the biggest news, we got battle music. Woo!
Yes, it's kind of it's getting there. I mean, it's just basically we just got a tribal drums, but it's a start.
I like the tribal drums.
It's fine for the new series. I found it to be very muted, is the word. It doesn't really stand out like the older series, and I do miss the old battle music, but, you know, just for generating atmosphere, it's fine.
Yeah. I don't know, I don't find myself missing battle music as much when they have the raw sound effects. Like, now that it's drowning that out, I'm like, I guess I didn't need this as much as I thought.
Speaking of sound effects, we'll definitely get to that when we review the House Robot Rebellion episode later. But yeah,
that's what I want to point out is, like, even though they had brought battle music back, it wasn't exactly like it was drowning out the actual noise of the robots fighting.
Yeah.
Well, I will say it's like it definitely enhanced some other fights where if you like when there were just robots driving around, it definitely enhanced it in that area.
Yeah, there's particularly one match where Sabretooth was gyro dancing, and it almost looked like he was dancing to the music. But yeah, the new music's good, but it's not as memorable as the classic songs like the Dead Metal theme and whatnot. But hey, I welcome it with open arms.
Hey, I want them to play... I'm sad that they never played the Steelworks battle music in the actual show, because that wouldn't be that wouldn't sound out of place at all.
Was that the Circular
Hey, well,
theme,
you know,
they
did play a bit of the classic music when they were showing off when they were talking about a certain robot.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
You guys want to talk about that certain robot right now?
It was short but sweet, but dear God, did I love this, even though it didn't really do much. Dietor is back.
Yes. So good to see it back. Even though it's not the same Dietor as last time. Basically, I believe it's Kadena Machina.
It is.
Just covered in Dietor fur. But
yeah.
I'm sure there's some people who are mad that it's not the original Dietor, but you know what?
Dietor is pretty trashed. The old
Yeah.
Dietor.
Yeah, I mean,
Its last fight was in the tag team in Extreme 2's Tag Team Terror, where Matilda basically split it in two.
Yeah. I mean, Dietor on the whole, it pretty much started to get outclassed by I'd say Series 5 at least, even though it did still have some classic moments, including that one classic moment, which they actually showed in this episode, was Dietor beating Tornado.
I'm disappointed they didn't show more outside of its one heat, because, there's really not that much footage of Dietor, post-Series 4, really. It's just so hard to find, good clips of Dietor doing stuff. If only there was, like, a tournament that it was in where it actually had a few good hits.
Yeah, but I was a little bit disappointed with this Dietor, because I think I really expected a lot more from it, because the spinning disc is an improvement. But
from what Peter Redmond has said, he basically just had a day with Kadena Machina, and that's to get it ready for the show. And he even said the first time he drove it was 2 minutes before the match.
Untested in battle.
Yeah,
he's been bit by the bug, though. He says he's open to making something in the future.
He says he's going to start. If he's going to start building a new machine in this month after he's done his event in Ireland.
If he does build a new Dietor, I'd like to see him go back to the classic lifting shovel it had in Series 5, but swap out the car springs for low pressure pneumatics.
What he's actually said is if they do, and if it's going to be a new variation on Dietor, they're going to do something different, because they said Nemesis had a spike, Dietor had this like the hydraulic flipper that even he admit never worked.
Flipper-esque thing.
Never worked.
Spring-loaded scoop.
Yeah. So he says if they come back, they're going to try something different now. They're going to try something different. So who knows? It might be Dietor with an overhead axe.
I will say this though. I did like Dietor with the spinner. I think maybe if Peter Redmond built a new Dietor with the flywheel, he could probably get some good hits with that one.
Well, he doesn't own Kadena. He doesn't own.
I know
that
he doesn't,
Dietor.
but I mean, like maybe if he made his own disc spinner.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be. It was so good to see. I mean, literally. Less than 5 minutes. I mean, I wish they kind of rerun the fight that they did have, because they admitted he said that the removable link wasn't actually put in properly when they started the fight. So, if they wanted to do like a grand glorious return of Dietor, they should have restarted the fight. I think they should have maybe reset the fight, because they've done it before. They did it in the Apex, Terahertz, and Vulture fight. So it's not above them of resetting a fight.
I keep telling those guys, you gotta put some duct tape around that link so it doesn't pop out like that. But yeah, well, that happens. It's a shame, but it's always good to see Dietor and Peter Redmond back. And like I said, we need more characters in these shows, like all kinds of wacky people.
Well, we had one on Team UK.
We did.
But I mean, I do also love one final point of it. The moment Dietor returns, every single team is clad in Dietor fur.
Yeah, we got.
Yeah.
The fur virus is spreading.
I actually tried to look up some fake Dietor fur online, but it was all sold out. Maybe Peter stole it all.
Just look up on. I think basically just look up on. I think on eBay they just have a Dietor fur. It's actually not called. It's called Ladybug fur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
you could just make your own.
Yeah, I know. I know Ian makes his own too.
Yeah. Just take some red felt and draw dots on it with a Sharpie marker, and there you go.
Some assembly required. No. One final thing to say is though, as soon as they introduced Dietor, Dara, who may I remind you is Irish, gave quite possibly the worst pronunciation of Dietor I've ever heard.
Worse than Jonathan Pierce.
Dietor.
Geothor. Really, Dara? Really?
Oh, come on.
Diotior, Dara, Geothor. Darathor.
I mean, let's be let's be honest. Let's be honest. It's a hard day. Dara's not the best when it comes to pronouncing names. I mean, it was a miracle that he managed to pronounce Danton Kier correctly, but so it's gonna be.
He pronounced behemoth correctly, technically, I guess.
What I have no idea how to pronounce Fuzzy's new robot that he has for.
It's Scottish, apparently.
What is it? It's Scottish for
Blizzard.
Shit. It's Cathod? I have no idea.
Katad, I think is what it would be.
He got better at pronouncing it during the episode, anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, that's Dietor. It's a shame it didn't perform all that well, but it was good to see it back. It burned up nicely, I will say. So we'll move on to the other international bots. Let's start with Cobra. I gotta say, I was really impressed by Cobra in this episode.
This was the. I think Cobra was honestly the best performing robot of this episode.
Yeah, I'd say that.
I think
close to it.
If there's a Series 11, and I really hope there is, although I have my doubts, and don't give me any of that, there's going to be a Series 11 nonsense, Alex. Because I love myself a good Rambot, and Cobra really delivered in this episode. Its fight with Sabretooth was a major highlight, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah.
They like weapons.
Yeah, it's like it really reminded me. It kind of looked like an oversized tornado with the big wedge on the front.
Wedge.
And the little the crushing beak, which we never really saw. But
it's a Rambot with the minimal weapon requirement.
Yeah,
I do love how they said like the guy they said it's a crusher bot when it has the tiniest little crusher on it.
It's like if the Iron Mask was a crusher.
It was basically was there so it could fit the active weapon rule.
Even though half the machine, well, yeah, like two of the international machines only had like a whacking hex that wasn't active, but that's a rant for another day. But yeah, Cobra got unlucky in the first match. Second match, it really shined. So
even though it got unlucky, it still put up a really good fight against Apollo.
Yeah, really, really good. And, we were actually going to have Leo Van Meert on here to represent Belgium. I think he would have really been a big fan, but, yeah, no big deal. But
yeah.
He doesn't know who we are.
Yeah, this would be kind of awkward.
Yeah, all the famous people are on holiday, by the way.
I'm sure all the famous people are drunk right now from the New Year's Eve party.
They're more slightly hungover.
Yeah, Vote Saxon is probably dead. No. But, yeah, that's Cobra. Yeah, what good performance by them, I thought. And we'll move on to the Dutch machine, Tomahawk. Tomahawk.
This robot could have performed so much better if they knew how to bloody drive it.
Well, this is where Anderson would make his joke about women drivers.
Oh.
I won't make that joke, but it was clearly a case of she couldn't drive it.
Yeah, well.
I don't know, it just seems like a hard design for anyone to aim, line up for a hit.
Well, it's not like it's just driving in a straight line she just seemed to have problem doing.
I don't know if it was because of her driving or because she kept getting stuck on those entanglements that she had on her bot for some reason.
God bless Anita, and this is just sort of a personal thing. She's great for the sport, and I like her personality, but I didn't like the way she talks. She speaks
Dutch.
I know she's Dutch, but she sounds like Brandon when he tries to do a Dutch accent.
She's got that accent. That is a Dutch accent.
So maybe
it's a Dutch trying to speak English.
Good.
Whenever I do a Dutch accent, I sound like Goldmember. So the very sexual, the very toit, Austin Powers.
That is a Dutch accent. Oh, I mean we've heard Jonathan Pierce doing a Dutch accent.
Oh yeah, that's classic. Those tires are exposed, guys, huh? Okay, now it just sounded like Sean Connery right there. Good God.
Sean Connery's a Dutch accent is basically a sort of Scottish accent.
It's what you mix when you mix Scottish with French.
Scottish French.
Sure,
they share a border with Belgium. They shared a team with Belgium in this episode.
Nobody gives a crap about Belgium.
Hey, they give us good chocolate.
Their chocolates are nice.
And Rob Van Dam.
Jinx.
Don't you mean Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Or, Jean-Claude Van Damme, sorry. I got wrestling on the brain.
Yeah, so Tomahawk, not a great
I mean,
performance.
it's basically unchanged from Series 9 when it got one hit KO'd.
Yeah. But not really much else to talk about Tomahawk, except for the fact that it was using Terahertz's old axe, which broke.
I think it was actually Kilohertz's old axe.
No, because Kilohertz's axe was more thin. This one obviously had the little holes drilled into it, and I have a feeling.
Yeah, I think actually, speaking of it, I think it might have been the Series 6 terahertz axe.
Yeah.
It looks like it, yeah.
I have a feeling John Reed might have given them a daft axe. Perhaps he was trying to sabotage them to get that win.
Yeah, real long con way back in Series 9.
And actually, speaking of it, Fwax can claim to be the first robot we've seen to have the axe break off that we've seen in the show. I mean, obviously it's happened loads of times in the live events, but this is the first time it's been on a TV show where the axe is not like, because obviously we've had axes breaking, but that's been like through dead metal cutting it off. This is the first axe breaking through just the force of the robot.
Behemoth's axe broke in the Series 7 House Robot Rebellion.
Yeah, but it kind of just it kind of more got twisted off by Mr. Psycho backing into it.
That's true. And Psycho Killer got its axe snipped off by Kill-A-Lot.
Yeah. That's
So
what
I'm saying
happens
is,
when
like,
you have an
this is the
exposed
first-
axe rod.
It's the first axe to fall off under its own power, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Tomahawk, it was a thing. Speaking of a thing, we must move on to the last international machine from Portugal, but again, these guys had to use a loaner bot for this episode. It is the return of D, except now it is a big black D.
And it doesn't work.
It worked. It beat Gabriel.
It worked in its second fight.
Yeah.
Suppose.
Yeah, but
It won its second fight.
yeah, you gotta hand it to him, because obviously with D, it was driven by those goofballs from the Battle of the Stars episode. They really had no idea how to do with it. But they had a good sword fight with Gabriel, and it was really close, but right towards the end, I think it was better driven. God bless Toby, but it just looked like... What's the name of this robot again?
Rabid M8.
Rabid M8, they're calling it now.
It's named after one of his lightweights.
Rabid... I keep looking at the name, and I think it's Rabid Mate.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
You what, mate?
That's a great impression. You do have a real British guy on here?
I'm sorry. I killed him with my beetle weight, so we're never going to hear from him again. So...
What I will say is I do love how in this episode when they're introducing all the international teams, they had like this big zoom out of the world, and then all the teams were from Europe.
Oh yeah, that was fantastic.
Same.
Well, we get next episode. We got one from Russia, one from America, and one from
America's hat.
America's hat.
Canada.
Canada, even though John Frizzell's been in the UK.
Also,
since
if we want to be
forever.
technical, Russia is a part of Europe.
No, it's part of Asia. Come on.
Nope.
Is-
It's part of Europe.
Oh yeah, I forgot
It's
my
not part of the
geography
European
courses.
Union, though.
Yeah, so
That's the one that counts.
At least from a geographical standpoint, it's part of Europe because it borders on Europe.
One sec, guys.
all right. Well, Ian's going to take a break. So, but yeah, we covered pretty much the international machines, and they had to go up against.
What say about Rabbit M8? It's just basically a big black D.
It's John Reed's big black D.
Oh. Okay, that's it. John Reed's not coming on this podcast ever.
Thinking, who the bloody hell are
John
you
Reed
guys?
knows what he. John Reed knows what he's become. Honestly, if you look, especially with him in this episode, he knows his memes.
Yeah.
He waited for a good hit.
I don't know if he's aware of the D thing.
I think I'm pretty sure he is. So.
Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, so the UK machines, we've covered them in the regular show. It's a Series 8 champion Apollo, the captain. We got Gabriel Gabriel the Thwack Butt, as the announcer calls it. Sabretooth, driven by the absolutely insane Gabriel Stroud, and Terahertz, driven by the great grandfather of Robot Wars, John Reed.
I gotta say, I actually prefer Apollo in its Union Jack paint job.
Yeah, it's a nice color for it.
Yeah, it adds because I think there's too much. It's too white. If that makes any sense.
Don't be racist.
Hey, this isn't Tumblr.
What I also will say is when they're introducing, especially Gabriel, this guy who's doing the robot announcements is getting more and more insane every time he does this.
Especially
when he did Gabriel, and it was thwack bot.
Thwack butt.
Did you hear him on Gabe Stroud's Inside the Bot podcast?
She's up to speed now, boys. That's my best impression.
I think this guy knows. I mean, if you actually watch him in Series 9 comparison to Series 10, he's kind of tame.
Yeah.
10 came along, he's just taking a load of speed or something like that because he's just off the ball.
Like I rewatched the Battle of the Stars episodes, and he's like, Cadena Machina, vertical spinner, and then it just went completely pants from there. Apex Boss Spinner.
Like, you've got I think it's like you went Dietorth Spinner,
and he got to say Cobra, so there you go. Cobra, I am Cobra Commander. So that pretty much covers all the machines of this episode. So we'll get on to the matches, and I will say there were some pretty fun matches, but I personally believe the best match of the show was this first one. Yeah. Apollo and Gabriel of Team UK versus Tomahawk and Cobra of the international team, or as I like to call them...
the rest of the world.
The rest of the world, or as I like to call them, Team Row.
There were some good hits in this match. Cobra showed off its pushing power, and Tomahawk got some good hits on Gabriel.
Yeah.
It was all about Sabretooth.
It was mostly Cobra this fight, basically, because Tomahawk was kind of stuck in that corner for the whole fight. But yeah, it was basically Cobra doing it, pulling it for the rest of the world side, because it really was just driving rings around Apollo.
Yeah, I think just when the match turned was when it ended up on the floor flipper and got flipped, which at the same time, and this was a funny moment, Dead Metal goes into attack and ends up headbutting the floor flipper, and at the same time, Apollo just tries to flip Dead Metal, and it's just like a complete catastrophe.
That must have done no end of damage to the floor flipper.
Yeah. Well, considering how much of a beating that thing's been taking, and hey, it's well deserved considering how many matches it's ruined. But then Dead Metal decides to attack Apollo, and Apollo just goes ahead and says, "Fuck you, you little bastard, I'm gonna take you out again." Just goes ahead and flips Dead Metal, who does like a handstand before finally flopping right over onto his back. It was awesome.
What I do like, though, is that, Dead Metal did actually get a good attack in on Apollo, but then when Apollo flipped it, they flipped it onto Cobra.
It's like a pincer attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely a good fight. I do really like the moment also when Gabriel locked axes with Tomahawk.
Yeah, I love that.
And they just sort of like dancing around together.
It was a really cool head scissors spot.
Yeah, that was pretty good. This was a great match, and Gabriel was good, Apollo was good, Cobra was really plucky, and Tomahawk was...
It was good until it died.
Yeah, and then just drove into the pit.
And Apollo waited for a good flip.
Yes.
Yeah, 4 seconds to go before the match ended, and they just decided, well, I've had enough of this match.
Yeah, but that was a good match, and even though Tomahawk ended up in the pit, Cobra was still mobile, so it went to a judge's decision, and to no surprise, the UK got the decision and the 2 points. So we'll move on to the second. Do we even want to call this a match?
It's not really a fight when your opponent's safety links fall out within seconds of each other.
Yeah, when the teams were only given 2 minutes to get their robots, when the rest of the world teams were only given 2 minutes to get their robots ready, and they didn't have time to properly put in their removable links.
So who did the decorations on it?
Probably the teams.
Oh, I thought Peter didn't have a chance to see.
I don't know. You just grab some spray paint from the back and just spray all kinds of red and blue and all kinds of stuff on there. So
well, if you did notice, all of these teams in this episode weren't in the grand final, apart from the 10-way.
Oh.
Well, we have the champions in the next episode.
Yeah, I'm surprised they actually Michael Oates actually managed to get Eruption back together after the pummeling.
Yeah, Eruption is not in any. It's not spoilers, but Eruption's in no real good state.
I'm looking at a picture of it now. Like half of it's got the Union Jack on it, and it looks okay. It's got a little bit of scratches, but I don't know.
Yeah,
they had make anything look okay.
They had less than a day to get it fixed from the beating it took from Carbide. So it's, even though it looks okay, those are basically just hammered those panels back into place.
Why would they bother?
Why not?
I don't know.
Michael Oates is dedicated to this sport. He treats this like his baby.
Well, half the robots in this episode, half the UK robots weren't even supposed to be in this episode because originally it was supposed to be Push to Exit and Nuts 2. Yeah. Nuts 2 was trash. Push to Exit had already gone home.
Nah.
Oh, I would have loved to have seen Stephen Anthony in this episode. In the Antics
come on, we need more of them. Instead they're going home and dressing up like Santa Claus and murdering people. Did you see that video, by the way?
You lost me.
Vote Saxon 07. He made a Christmas video where he's like dressed as Santa trying to score a hooker and all kinds of wackiness happens.
It is a Christmas special every year.
It's classic. Even Mr. Psycho did a reaction and review of it. But yeah, we talked more about randomness than we talked about the match. Terahertz hit Dietor twice. Link popped out,
and the link just fell out. It wasn't even properly put in; it just fell out. Actually, I don't think it was John. I don't think it was. It was literally just Terahertz ramming into Dietor that took the link out. It wasn't the actual access.
Oh, it fell out Toron style.
Yeah, I hate those links. You know, I'm on the King Buxton team at Robo Games, aka I'm the cheerleader. But I'm gonna tell Simon, put some duct tape around that link. So, yeah. But Terahertz and Sabretooth versus Dietor and Rapid M8. This is all I wrote for it in the notes. Terahertz kills Dietor and Sabretooth kills Rapid M8. Dietor ends up in flames. Boom. That's it.
Yeah. Actually, one thing we didn't mention about the last tag team fight was, like most tag team fights, they start off following the rules, but then eventually they just say fuck the rules and let's just fight each other.
I will say this: this second match was probably one of the few times where they actually kind of sort of followed the rules, because all Terahertz had to do was knock out Dietor, and Sabretooth knocked out Rapid M8, and that was it.
Yeah, honestly, with how they both went out, I honestly do think they probably should have restarted the match, because Terahertz and Sabretooth wouldn't have used that much power.
Yeah,
and I mean, it was just sort of a case of. They've done, like I said before, they've done it before, where they've reset a match if, things are done too quickly. They did it in Series 10 with Vulture, Apex, and Terahertz.
Yeah. It's circumstances. If the link pops out, that's it for you. It's happened a lot of times, so.
There's one thing I do want to mention, though, about Terahertz in this battle, and that's... Well, we'll get to Terahertz when we talk about its fight with Tomahawk.
Yeah. Do you think Cobra could have won if they had switched into this match instead of the other one?
Yeah, they definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, that covers the tag team matches. The UK wins both tag matches in a complete squash. So we go on to the single round matches, and I thought it was going to be another squash, but you know what? People told me don't underestimate the power of the international bots, and you know what? The international bots had some good performances here, particularly Sabretooth versus Cobra, and this was basically just Cobra dominating.
Yeah, it was mostly Cobra, because Sabretooth was just gyro dancing while Gabriel Stroud sat in the control pod laughing maniacally.
Or was it Gabriel said in his interviews, like, what do I bring to the team? He said, I bring respect and loyalty?
He is being such a heel.
No, I think he said like I was bringing like I don't know, gloriousness or something.
Yeah, glory, something like that. He's like total. He's deliberately doing ego rubbing.
Yeah. You know what? We love it. Yeah, but Cobra, it's really good to see it actually do well. Just slamming Sabretooth around into the CPZs and whatnot.
This is Cobra's first win on TV.
Yeah, and good for them. Because
I was going to say, Cobra's 2-1 in its record, but it's always Cobra's always put up a good fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you see Behemoth and Eruption, it was getting flipped all over the place, but it still kept going. I hope if they do have a Series 11, I hope to see them back, and I'm sure we will see them back. So, and Sabretooth basically just kept gyro dancing to the kick-ass drums that were playing in the background, but even with all that, they still managed to make it to a judge's decision. And
it was a split decision. No, that was unanimous.
It
was the next fight.
Yeah, Cobra got the decision in. But before we go on to the next fight, we get a promo for Alex Shakespeare's Antweights.
I thought the BBC weren't allowed to do advertising.
Oh, get it. Well, they didn't post a link to his site, but they did show off some of his little bots, including his.
This is
his little you know that I forget the name of the orange Antweight, but it's won the Antweight World Series a lot of times. That thing has power. It just so fast and so completely quick.
What I will say is it's nice that the new series finally recognizes the other weight classes.
Hey, who knows? Maybe the next special will actually get like some Antweights and featherweights doing melees.
If they have a Beetleweight division, I'm flying over there. I don't even give a shit about the shipping costs. I'm going over there, and I'm gonna beat some butts.
I bet you could just probably put your Beetleweight in hand luggage.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I don't know.
Yeah, you could.
It can't bring lipos on board.
Yeah, you can.
You can?
Yeah, you're not supposed to put them in your checked baggage.
Yeah.
I mean, don't say anymore, because you don't know who's listening to this, but it is actually illegal to put lipos in the big checked baggage.
Ooh, I'll have to hire a secret agent to ship them out. So.
Yeah, just like the airlines let you do a personal item, and my robots are my personal item in a big Ziploc bag.
Well, there you go. Yeah, that covers Sabretooth versus Cobra. Cobra got the win for 2 points. We got a little promo for Alex Shakey's bots, Ants, Beetles, his featherweight, and so.
What was the featherweight? Because it looks familiar.
Legion, I think.
I think it is Legion.
Oh yeah, that's Gabe's bot.
Yeah.
Gabe from Sabretooth.
Yeah.
Oh God! If they have featherweights,
because the heavyweight version of Legion is fighting in King of Bots.
Yeah.
Oh God! If Legion meets Michael Oates' featherweight explosion in like a televised match, I'd love to see the banter between him and Michael.
I don't know. He's like. He'll probably be poking Michael, saying, "Who's the happy boy? Who's the happy boy?" And Michael's just like, he's just staring off at space. He's just like, I hate this guy.
I swear, Gabe, when we're finished with this, I'm gonna murder you so badly.
Yeah, but that covers that match. So we move on to the Battle of the Axes: Terahertz versus Tomahawk.
This is where John Reed reaches his legendary meme status again.
Yes.
He's pretty much figured it out by now.
He knew what he was saying.
Actually, can I just say this? We have to talk about the other meme regarding Terahertz. Nick Lynch.
Yeah.
Nick Lynch's role on Team Terahertz is just to stand there and look awkward. Because every shot you see him in, he just has this weird look on his face as if he's saying, can you please take that thing away from me? Thank you.
He's John's own personal robot. He's an android.
Actually, apparently Tim says that Nick's a great guy, though. That, John Reed will just lovingly insult him for hours, and he'll just come up with the best comebacks ever.
Yep, and of course we did get a little bit of info about John Reed. He's been around since 1066.
Well, of course he would be with that beard.
That's how long he's been waiting for a good hit.
JP's commentary in this episode was absolutely on. He was on fire.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it's great.
Robot Wars International Man of Mystery Shunt.
I already made my Austin Powers joke, but so let's make another one.
Wasn't this the fight where before it they had did no one rewatch this episode before they broadcasted it? Because they had you know which moment I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, out of nowhere they have footage from Aftershock versus Carbide.
Oh yeah.
Did nobody bother to look over this episode when they were editing it?
I wasn't even checking. I don't know if it was because I was having buffering issues or not, but
yeah, it just
I don't even
out of nowhere.
I think there was. It's clearly an editing hiccup. But it was like, seriously, did none of you watch this back?
Well, Robot Wars is infamous for its shitty editing, but yeah, I'll have to
Well,
watch
the
this
editing in the modern series is better than the stuff in the classic series.
Yeah, our matches are 5 minutes long. Shows a minute and a half of footage. Yeah, and basically, this was pretty much all Terahertz's match. Tomahawk, God bless him. I don't know if they were having driving issues with all those entanglements. Why did they have all the entanglements on there? They're not fighting a spinner.
Just for the hell of it, I think.
I think it's because on the live circuit, Terahertz has gotten stuck on some things, and given that Terahertz has a very low ground clearance, they figured that if it runs over any of those ropes, it'll gum up the wheels.
Yeah, so Terahertz was just slamming it around, and then they end up in Matilda. Tomahawk goes flying over Matilda's tusks, and the axe just pops off like nothing. I wonder, was that the same axe that Tanto broke? I think it was, wasn't it?
It wouldn't be because then it would be broken in two places.
I don't know. But yeah, and then Terahertz finally finishes Tomahawk off by pushing it into the pit, but not before Nick Lynch gives one last good hit.
Oh, yes.
John, when I know that John Reed knows he's a meme, it's when he goes like, he literally says his line for line. He's like, no, wait for a good hit. Wait.
Yeah. But yeah. How about you, Ian? What do you got to say?
I think it's really great when they interact with the community like that.
Yeah. Even though, like, sometimes the internet can be a bit harsh, but you know what? They still learn to have fun with it.
Actually, we forgot the best part of this fight.
Go on.
When Peter Redman is trying to give advice to the Tomahawk girls.
Oh, yes.
And I think it's Anita just tells him to shut up.
Well, she even tells him after the fight. It's like, next time you do it with your own controller.
Oh, I missed that.
Well, I mean, who hasn't want to tell off a backseat driver at an event?
Yeah.
I always tell off the backseat gamers.
Yeah, you got it.
I mean, you gotta have a lot of patience. I mean, God knows. I mean, what the other guy from Team Sabretooth, when he was given the controls of Sabretooth, and Gabe was just literally shouting down his ear. That guy's got some patience.
Yeah. So, Terahertz wins this match in another 3 points, which means Terahertz won both its matches in this episode.
Yay!
Good times. So the UK are up 8, and I believe it's the rest of the world at 2. So we move on to Thwack Butt versus Thwack Butt. Gabriel versus Rapid M8.
As Dara O'Brien called it, the International Floor Hitting Championship.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Not really much to this fight. They were just flailing about. Rabid M8 got some good hits on Gabriel, but there's not much to it.
And then the turning point was like, I guess Gabriel lost drive in one of its wheels. So.
Yeah,
How did that happen?
Yeah, Craig, I think it was like one of its gears came loose, or its gears seized up. It was a gearing issue.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I believe
they took everything from Carbide, but not that.
I believe this was right after their match with Aftershock, so Craig was having.
No, the international fights were the last thing filmed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like 2 days prior, so maybe he was just having issues or something.
Gabriel's last fight in Series 10 was day 2.
Oh, okay.
And it was a 5-day filming. So
Yeah. But yeah, this match, it was basically a sword fight. Gabriel lost drive.
There was 2 points where Gabriel and Rabid M8 were swinging back and forth in sync with one another.
Yeah, that was cool.
I can't wait for that video that someone's going to do for one of those Robot Wars meme videos where they're like, I don't know, they're doing it to the waltz music.
I just hope we don't get any Rule 34 ideas out of this match.
Damn spot monkeys!
Probably too late.
All I will say is I've been on Tumblr and I typed in
dear
Robot
God.
Wars. The first picture of Matilda I found was not safe for work.
Oh,
dear God.
Jesus!
No, keep away.
I posted in the chat and absolutely ruin your vision.
Oh God.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, let's do this. It's not like we're gonna show it. Anyway.
Oh no! Do it. This is the hardcore
gotta
podcast
find
for a
it
reason.
All right.
It
You know
is-
what?
no,
I'm
it's-
not going to
you will
look,
get
but you can
flagged
do
if
it.
you post it.
Yeah, I'm
You
not.
will get flagged if you post it.
I'm not gonna show it, but we're just gonna.
It's like how
Keep
on Top
talking
Gear when
about-
Jeremy Clarkson says, "I went on the internet and found this," and the camera just cuts away to the wide shot of the audience.
Well, yeah, you guys talk among yourself while I find it.
Oh dear God.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess the turning point was when Rabbit hit Rogue House Robot. Shunt came out, just beat the shit out of Gabriel.
Yeah, I mean, Gabriel would have lost that even if it didn't die, because,
Yeah.
I mean, Rabbit was the only one getting hits. Like,
Alright.
it was just too small for Gabriel.
Oh, John, no, Jesus!
All right. Well, thank you very
he
much for
lost
that,
it.
Alex.
Delete!
Can that disappear now?
Oh God.
Oh, God, no!
Oh.
Please do not want.
Hey,
Well-
it's your Skype, so the joke's on you. God.
Yeah, that was
No.
shocking in some ways,
Oh,
but
my
not
God.
shocking that it exists.
Yeah. If it exists, there's
Oh, yeah,
more
I was
of it.
on Tumblr the other day and I found that.
Oh, God.
There's a reason I do not go on Tumblr.
Me neither.
There's 100 reasons, in fact, but that is one of them.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a thing.
All right, I'm gonna take a sip of water.
I think that's what Jonathan Pierce sees when he sees Matilda.
Oh, no!
Possibly.
Oh.
All right. Where's my drink?
Where's my bleach?
All right, so let's erase that from our memories and move on to the
I could
final
just-
match.
Hold on, let's go wash our eyes with soap.
Yeah. So the points count at the end of this episode. It was UK with 8, and the rest of the world with 4.
4.
So
Yes, that's correct.
this final match was between the two team captains, and it's 5
Yeah,
points.
Doubled now, which it's basically like a game show. You thought the first rounds were pointless. This makes it all you thought the first rounds meant something. This makes it all inferior.
So it's Apollo versus Dietor. Dietor decides to go YOLO and sets itself on fire.
No. This is how I interpreted it. Dietor wasn't going to take it from Apollo, so he said, "You've done well, Apollo, but let me show you my true form." Then it drives over the pit, sets itself on fire, and then goes, "Ah! Oh, God, I didn't think this through! Oh, God, it burns!"
It was such a funny sight to see Dietor just charging while burning a lot. Just
You know what
burning up.
it reminds me of? If you've seen the movie Christine, it was like when Christine is all engulfed in flames and is chasing Buddy down the road. That's exactly what it looked like.
Yeah. It was kind of but you could make the meme like, speaking of anime, it was literally like Dietor went Super Saiyan.
Yes, it did.
Unfortunately, it was all for naught since Apollo was
That's
like...
not how you use the one for all.
Yeah, Apollo was like, okay.
Apollo went ultra intense or whatever it's called.
Ultra Super
Plus
Saiyan God or
Ultra.
something. And just tossed Dietor all over the place.
And
then
after it finished. Well, it beat Dietor by flipping Dietor, and then had Dietor did the thing.
yeah, basically did it. How ironic! It's like Dietor. They finally made got a Dietor. You know what? One of Dietor's weakness. Dietor's biggest weakness to me is not its flammability. It never had a Shremek. So like 90% of its losses was due to it getting flipped over.
Yeah,
It would have had a stream
yes, again,
if you
Dietor.
covered up the wheel guards.
Yeah.
Yeah, he even admitted it was the wheel guards that actually got them out, and also he couldn't see where Dietor was.
Oh yeah, because that stupid area right there. And so basically, Dietor is just a smoldering mess right now, and Apollo decides.
And the true fight of this episode happened.
Apollo decides, okay, now that we've gotten rid of that furry fanatic, we got to take out this big bastard Kill-A-Lot. And god damn, they came so close.
Oh man,
it's like it's like I've never. It's like that. It really shows how powerful Apollo is. They were literally flipping Kill-A-Lot off the ground. It was like at least an inch off the ground.
If Kill-A-Lot was just a little further up Apollo's front, it could have toppled over.
Yeah,
especially the last one. If Apollo would just were a little bit more underneath the Kill-A-Lot, they would have tipped him on his side.
I think what happened.
Would they have even shown it if he did?
You know what? It would have been a fantastic way to end the year. I think just finally finishing that fat bastard off.
This was the closest Apollo has ever gotten.
You know what?
Or any robot really to killing Kill-A-Lot.
Well, if Apollo next time, he might finally have that chance.
It felt like it was like Inspector Gadget. Next time, Kill-A-Lot. Next time.
Yeah. And then I guess they gave up because Apollo was just sitting there by the corner as Kill-A-Lot.
I think it was more of a case of you even see it in the like you can see like in some of the shots like the doors opening and some of the producers come in.
Oh boy!
I think it was actually the because Cease had been called and they were still going for it. I think the producers told them to stop.
I don't know.
Yeah,
the producers never let Apollo have any fun.
Well, they let him flip dead metal again. So
I mean, this made up for them cutting the fight, the Apollo trying to flip Kill-A-Lot in Series 10.
Yeah.
Which I wish they would upload. They wish someone would upload. But anyway,
I'm just mad because we get Gabe in this episode and they didn't show that clip of him dancing with Bucky's mascot.
Yeah, but so the UK wins this first episode, and I actually talked to Dave Young on Twitter. Turns out that trophy is just a prop. So, they don't actually get the trophy. Episode. I'm disappointed. If
you win the actual series, like I think Apollo have the Series 8 trophy.
Maybe that was it, or maybe that was
Carbide had the Series 9 trophy too.
They're the same trophies, so.
No, they're not. It's completely remade trophy. It's not like they don't have to give the trophy back. Apollo have the Series 8 trophy.
Yeah, I mean this international trophy wasn't exactly the most well earned. I mean, Apollo did their part, but it was a team effort. Like,
I mean, it would have been.
I'm not helping somebody else win a trophy like that. Like,
I mean, it would have been great if they went, "Okay, UK, you've won the trophy. Now fight for who keeps it."
There you go.
Just slice it into 8 pieces.
Yeah.
Well, if there is an upside to this, I guess you could say Terahertz actually kind of won something.
As a title.
It has a quote-unquote title. I don't know. Give John Reed a beer. That's his compensation. So yeah, that pretty much covers the first episode of the World Series. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give it an 8. What do you guys think?
I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. I mean, there were some good battles, some not so memorable, but I think just those little moments bumped it up to a 7.5 for me.
Yeah. How about you? How about Alex? Alex, you want to?
I mean, there wasn't that many particularly good fights in this episode, but it was a lot of fun this episode.
And the music really helped it, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of like some episodes of Extreme where the fighting wasn't that great, but some of the entertainment stuff was just pushed the episode up.
How about you, Ian?
I'm not gonna be as generous. I'm gonna give it a 5.
Ooh.
I mean, there was not a lot of action, not enough screen time from any of the robots that I wanted to see, and fewer fights, and overall, I guess just a very anticlimactic finish.
But we do have another episode next Sunday, and it features some decent machines.
We're hoping to have some...
I'm pegging that as a good one.
Yeah, we
have Russia's best flipper.
Basically, Russian Beast.
Yeah, we got Russian Beast, which is Weber. You've got Arena Cleaner.
You've got the turtle.
Yeah, which has never won a match yet.
Yeah, if let's see, we got Terra Turtle. So if Terra Turtle potentially can lose 2 matches in this episode, it will become the worst performing robot in Robot Wars history.
Worse than Joker, I think.
Congratulations, John Frizzell. You're the Cleveland Browns of the Robot Wars.
Oh, that's
It's currently tied with Velociraptor for most losses without a single win.
Yikes.
I mean, Velociraptor has the soccer thing.
Woo, they got a goal. Yeah. But yeah, that covers this episode, but stay tuned.
So actually, there's one robot we didn't talk about that's going to be in the next episode. The one that everyone's been talking about.
Oh?
That
Start with a B.
Everyone is thinking that is coming back, but they've actually made a complete mistake of it.
Bash.
No, we've got the Bash.
Bash! It's a miracle! We got Bash back! Oh my god!
Yeah, Brandon, don't get your hopes up.
Oh. No, I'm sick.
It's Sergeant Bash's son.
Bash
private.
Jr.
It's Private Bash.
That sounds
Bash.
painful.
Oh, I gotcha. But yeah, that covers this episode, and we're going to be doing another review next. So stay tuned. Until then, this is the Hardcore Kid.
This is Otaku Nate.
This is ResettisReplicas.
And this is your Lord and Master Alexthehunted.
Peace out.
Fuck you, Spanos.